Hello, I'm Ted Taylor. I'm Senior Technical Consultant with RVT Group, on site with Bouygues today to demonstrate some best practice dust control techniques. So even before we get to site, we need to have carried out a suitable risk assessment of covering the work activities which we're planning. We need to consider construction industry guidance. We need to look at HSG 258. We need to look at the cost regulations and the Health and Safety at Work Act to ensure that we're fully protecting our people. So we'll be looking at using the hierarchy of control. Eliminate the hazard by changing the process. Substitute the material or the work activity for something that's got less risk. Use an engineering control, which is equipment to take the hazard away. Administrative controls, where we're keeping the people away from the hazards. And then finally, as a last resort, using personal protective equipment. We need to understand the hazards that we're working with. We've got inhalable dust, which is something that our bodies can generally handle. That's the visible dust that we see in the air. And that will be filtered out by our nose and throat. Our bodies can handle that. It's the respirable dust that is responsible for the long-term illnesses, things like lung cancer, COPD, and silicosis. We need to consider workplace exposure limits as set out in EH40, HSE's guidance document on exposure limits. You've got things like respirable crystalline silica with 0.1 milligrams per cubic metre and hardwood dust at 3 milligrams per cubic metre. As these are carcinogens, we should be reducing exposure as low as reasonably practicable. So we brought three types of machine with us today: the Raptor, the Dustmaster Pro and the WanderFilter Pro. Now the Raptor is the smallest of our dust filtration machines and has an airflow of about 1,000 cubic metres an hour. This is used for smaller activities, local works, drilling, grinding, things like that. The Dustmaster is a larger machine. It's used for more intensive activities with an airflow of around 2,500 metre cubed an hour. And then the biggest of the machines we bought, which is the WanderFilter. That's designed around creating negative pressures in quite large work areas and handling much larger volumes of dust, and that will run up to about 6,000 metre cubed an hour. Each of these machines will filter to HEPA grade and can be set up to handle hazardous materials like respirable crystalline silica. Each of the three systems that we brought to site today have three-stage filtration. So you have a pre-filter, which is user serviceable. Site guys can remove that on a regular basis and clean it out either with a hose or using a suitable vacuum cleaner. This will get the bulk of the dust out and protect the finer filters. The second stage of filtration is a fine filter. This is often adequate if we're using low toxicity dusts. This is a disposable filter and can be simply replaced if needed. The third filter is a HEPA filter. These are individually tested and certified, and we record the test certificate number against the machine it's been fitted into as part of the thorough examination and test process that each of our machines goes through before being delivered to site. Remember, we need to capture, contain and control.
My name is Andy Robbins, Key Account Manager at the RVT Group. We've been working with Bouygues for many years, helping to improve respiratory health on site. The significant projects that we've helped them on, such as the UCLH project, where they were installing the proton beam equipment and the area had to be completely pristine. So we're not only protecting the actual equipment being installed, but the workers' health on site. Then across to the Cardiff University, there's various challenges they faced there with dust, which we provided bespoke solutions for. Then there's the Cambridge project, the Cavendish 3 project, which we've been doing a lot of work with them on managing their dust, managing their noise, and general site health. Hazards on site aren't mutually exclusive. Often you'll find a dusty activity is a noisy activity. Therefore, we combine solutions that manage the dust and the noise together. The Soundex acoustic cutting enclosure protects site workers from noisy activities, while the extraction protects them from the dust. The HSE recommends using dust vacuums to remove dust from the floor rather than using a broom. A broom creates an abundance of airborne dust. while a correctly spec'd M or H class dust vac will maintain safe dust levels.